Hey everybody, and welcome to Ubisoft E3 2013 Media Briefing. I am your host, Aisha Tyler. Welcome. E3 is my favorite time of the year. It's like Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, my birthday, a boss fight, and a UFC heavyweight championship rolled all into one. I literally could not sleep last night. And that's because I was playing EC3, but I didn't sleep at all. Awesome. Yes. I know how I feel about Watch Dogs. Remember, there are no stupid questions. Yes, there are. There are very stupid questions, absolutely, but don't worry, we'll answer those too. I promise you that.
Been so long, hasn't it? What's up, guys? Fico here again, and welcome once again to my gaming mind. And now this time around, we're going to talk about Ubisoft, or whichever one you want to call it. But basically, they're sort of been known for delivering very interesting E3 conferences. These presentations, they're not really presentations, more like menageries of shit. They're sort of like, I don't think I've ever experienced something over the last couple of years like Ubisoft's approaches. It's like they'll either be sort of impressive or kind of impressive, or they'll just be absolute garbage. I mean, it's never either or. It's never sort of okay. No. This year, I think things kinda went a little... I'm a bit confused with Ubisoft. I mean, I don't know what to make of this. But you know what? We're going to go with about throughout this entire experience together. And what better way to start than with a rock song, of course. As we get the continuation of bringing in famous people to talk about video games continues with Jerry Cantrell. Jerry Cantrell from Alice in Chains, apparently coming to test out a music game, but it really isn't a music game. It's more Rocksmith. And apparently introducing the concept of how you could now do a jam session with other players. How it's a session mode in which like it comes out and you can play instruments with other players as well. It took a bit to just kind of waiting to get to the point of what he was trying to show. It really wasn't anything that we hadn't already seen. But okay, yeah, you can play the game with other sessions. That was pretty much it. That was what Rocksmith was. Introducing us a game we already knew about, but apparently it's newer. And then it happened. Then it suddenly happened. Then we got our first glimpse of the thing that I could not stop thinking about throughout this entire Ubisoft presentation. That's Aisha Tyler. I made mention of her in the last video that I did, and I kind of sort of gave the impression I was going to rip a new a-hole on her, but I feel like I've already done that when I was watching that video. Well, she's basically trying to socialize. I mean, it's almost as if she was trying to embody the dude that was in the soup, the one that hosted the previous ones, and Mr. Caffeine. Like she wanted to embody both of them. You know, not be as annoying as Mr. Caffeine, but just show her presence enough to you to make you wish you could just dump her in a wood chipper, or throw off of a moving vehicle, or beat her senselessly. You know, not enough to kill her, but you know, just enough to keep her from ever doing another E3 presentation like ever again. Comes out with this little pound girlwood, you know, like, oh yeah, because yeah, I'm coming out and like this is me, and it definitely, you know, girlwood. Yeah, very funny, by the way. I found her to be super extravagantly annoying. Super just isn't even enough. Just really. I mean, because with Mr. Caffeine, I was just like, wow, I cannot believe that that Ubisoft did this. With Aisha Tyler, I was like, I can't believe that Ubisoft did this again. Hugely distracting. This chick would just not shut up. She just come out on stage and making a racket. Seriously, I know I've harped about this, but that's what it'll ultimately come down to. But hey, you know what? That's not all that she was shown. Although she did try to stay on the stage long enough for you to remember that she is there. But no, they talked about stuff. They talked about games. They talked about Blacklist, a next Splinter Cell game. They were not showing the game in full screen. For some reason in the stream, they decided to show the stage. Because apparently this wasn't just like one of those trailers that they were showing. How apparently, you know, it wasn't much about just one thing happening. It was a bunch of other things that were happening around the stage. I thought it was a flaw about what happened, but it actually turned out that it was just such a huge screen that they just didn't know how to project it. So they might as well just show you all the actual thing in this majesty, the way everybody was watching it. The game is coming out on August, and Blacklist is one of those games that looks like it has a very interesting story. Because, I mean, a lot of people were complaining that the Splinter Cell games were straying away from this stuff. It was getting too techy. It was turning into Metal Gear Solid almost. But you know what? This story, at least, I mean, from Sam Fisher's point of view, it definitely does look like it's an interesting game. And it definitely looks very interesting. Probably won't get it at launch or at full price right away, but it's definitely a game that I would definitely look forward to as well. Because hey, you know what? Splinter Cell games, as far as they've been getting much more interesting. But we'll see what happens. They brought this mode back that, you know, they made a big deal about it. I think it was introduced in the third Splinter Cell game, Mercenaries, I think, versus Spies, I think it was called. But I never played that one. I don't know if it was introduced in the last one. I'm trying to remember. I am not much of an avid Splinter Cell player. I played one on the GameCube. Didn't really get past that point beyond that. But it looked pretty interesting. And the next game that was shown after Aisha Tyler made me want to jam her in a freezer when she came out again and she couldn't shut up was Rayman Legends, which is showing they're coming out and showing that it was coming out in September the 3rd. It had a bunch of multiplayer modes. It had a bunch of 120 levels with musical maps in them as well. It was funny because there was this one moment where they were showing the Viking girl and she had booby jiggle physics. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, you know, I'm glad that Ubisoft is embracing this, you know, silliness. But even that kind of looks a bit too sexy for its silly world. But you know what? More power to them. More power to her, the little Viking girl. She's kind of awesome anyway. So, Rayman Legends, a game I demoed on some time ago, and I cannot wait for that game to come out. I mean, if it's anything like Origins, which is already looking to be like it, it's definitely. A lot of people got mad about the delay, but I'm glad that that game is coming out soon. So. They also talked about this game called The Mighty Quest for Epic Loot. And that is supposed to be some kind of tower defense game in which apparently it's in beta, closed beta right now. So you can play The Mighty Quest for Epic Loot going to themightyquest.com. It was sort of funny because they were showing this like little game trailer that was like a cinematic animated featurette, sort of like a la Pixar or a la DreamWorks. And I couldn't help but think maybe that'd be such a funny concept to put like in an animated movie, and that would be just like, and it was showing us like a little mini animated movie, so it was definitely nice. So, it's sort of like this game that's built around building castles, and then you do what you can to protect your loot. And apparently, you can build a castle at your own leisure. You can gear up your hero pretty nice. It was a funny trailer, and it left me wanting to get into closed beta. Maybe what I'll do is I'll do a video of me playing The Mighty Quest for Epic Loot, and I'll give you guys my impressions. But for now, this is what's been happening with Ubisoft, and they proceed from this on to the next game, which is a game that was dead and then it was brought back, and it's this game that everybody was kind of still hoping that it still exists, and it is the South Park game, The Stick of Truth. The RPG made by Obsidian. It is alive. They didn't show that much footage of the game. They showed more about like South Park footage of the actual like sort of like cutscenes of the game. Not enough to show us that the game any sort of like gameplay, but the fact that they come out and show us that the game is still alive, no, it's good enough for me. I mean, it's an RPG with South Park, and it's done by Obsidian. I mean, they did Fallout, New Vegas. They've done the original Fallout games as well. Obsidian is not a bad company that does, they do good games. I mean, they develop good games. Sometimes they pick up franchises that they didn't do at first, and they cross them over, and they're still pretty good too. I mean, some of them don't, but I'm glad to see that. I mean, this one definitely looks like Obsidian could definitely pick this up back to where they were. Then all of a sudden, Guillermo, which he shows up on a yearly basis. I wonder why he never ever just goes and he sees those presentations and he looks at the speaker and goes, "Yeah, that's a good idea." But no, Aisha comes out again. And she's like, hello, Eve. I was like, I speak French. Blah, blah, blah. And they come and talk about yet another racing game. Every single one of these people had a racing game. And this ain't limited to the next two that I'm going to be talking about, the next two conferences, the next two events. Clearly, everybody brought a racing game. But this one actually is just like very interesting, and they stayed a lot of time talking about this game. It's called The Crew, and The Crew's apparently what I thought about when I saw this was like, this is Need for Speed again, and it's a sort of like this online world, which is basically kind of sort of like the same thing. It's like this large overworld, but you have like a customized system in which you can apparently tune your car. Pretty deep. There's like a lot of details. It's like it comes to the point where you're like disassembling that whole car. You can customize your car to make it so that you can take it to different missions. Like you can take your car to get off-road missions, or you need it for speed, or you need it to, to do street races. You need it to drag and like those quarter-mile races, or you need to do a heist. You need to knock out a vehicle. These cars, you build them up. They're called takedown missions. And you can go and you're following these vehicles to take those vehicles down. And you can prepare your car using smart glass. Pretty impressive. You can just like tune in and deck your car, and you can do that, and you can get it like ready into the game. They sent Aisha to the back so that she could play with her little tablet, and you know. But that didn't keep her back there because she was back out again. It was like, oh look, I did this with my tablet. Ah, yeah, hello, I'm back, guys. Was that awesome? Was it not freaking awesome? Huh? I wanted to shut this woman up so badly. But you know what? That doesn't matter because we saw more gameplay of Watch Dogs. My favorite game of last year, and I cannot stress enough how excited I am for this game for this year. I want that game so badly. They showed more gameplay, and that put my game. I mean, I put that game on the buy list last year, but they showed footage of this game again and again. I was so excited. I was like, oh yeah, that's why I didn't hate on Ubisoft so badly, because Watch Dogs just blew everybody's minds last year. I mean, like, and then this year, this beautiful game that I cannot wait for. A weird transition between Cars, Watch Dogs, and Just Dance. Apparently, they didn't think one music game, rhythm game, was enough. They had to add another one. And of course, because Pitbull is something important, they had to put him, his song. And then how you could just transition between one song to the other. You could be like a personal DJ while you're dancing. Not a big deal, really. Just whatever. I'm beyond the point of rhythm games. It's not against Rocksmith, because at least Rocksmith's teaching you how to play an instrument. And I wasn't against Rock Band either, because I mean their selection of music and Guitar Hero was also good. But you know, dance rhythm games, I don't know. Still have a market for them, but oh, there you go. Just Dance 2014 coming out on all consoles. Enjoy. Go out and dance like a crazy maniac. And to follow up the rhythm of conferences that are bringing things that have nothing to do with video games, they brought in the worst combination of things altogether. They brought Aisha Tyler out, again, to explain this. They brought the concept of a television show that has to do with the rabbits from the Rayman Rabbids. And they're talking about how it's going to be in Nickelodeon, but I don't care. It has nothing to do with video games at all. It's just another show. I mean, when they talked about the Halo movie, the Halo TV show, it made sense, because it's talking about a franchise that has been sort of adapted, something like Forward Unto Dawn and the trailers. It's something that you sort of see as something that's possible, and you can get excited about it. Need for Speed, the movie, has nothing to be excited about, because I don't think anyone is like a Need for Speed freak. I mean, this is clearly aimed for those that like Fast and the Furious, not Need for Speed. You know? And all of a sudden now they're coming and take that one element from Rayman, before Rayman Origins came out, that was sort of like, aha, funny. And then it's the rabbits, and they're giving him, not only just giving a TV show, but apparently they have a partnership with Microsoft in which you can make the show with interactive missions while you're watching the show. And that is where they brought in the second Kiss of Death. You know, they brought on celebrities in the last conference, that they brought in annoying presenters. But you know what? Let's bring in kids. Yeah, kids who are watching this show, and all of a sudden they're being asked to engage in this mission, in this game. Yeah, it's great for kids. It's great for, you know, for the whole family, especially for those stupid kids. But you know what? I could not care at all. I really do not care at all. I mean, as bad as, you know, as bringing obvious actors pretending to play video games, not actual play testers who play video games, is bringing in kids. No. Sorry. Get those kids to the backstage and get them back with Aisha Tyler and keep all three of them back there. Seriously. What was wrong? Why couldn't Yves Guillemot come out and just done this conference? And I keep complaining about Aisha Tyler. I'm sorry. They finally showed some Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag footage, and they're showing it as it's going to be in like an era of pirates. They show it in widescreen so that you're not to show it from afar. It's in-game footage, which is really nice. I don't know how much I care about the Assassin's Creed series. I'm playing Brotherhood now, so I hope to keep on caring about the series enough to keep on going. But we are talking about a yearly Assassin's Creed thing here, so as long as you keep on buying into this story or whatever, it looks like an interesting concept of the assassins in the pirate era, so I really don't. It looks interesting, They do talk about it some more on the PlayStation 4 conference later on, man. Boy, do I have something to say about that moment when they come to talk about it. Wow. All I've got to say is they should have just presented it here. That's all I'm going to say. Seriously, they should have just presented it here. And they talked about it, but I guess the reason they didn't is because they wanted to show this as a showcase game to show how the PlayStation 4 handles Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. Oh boy, just wait till I get to that moment. I mean, y'all saw it, you already know what it is, but it is an unfortunate situation. But there you go. Ubisoft showing another bit of footage on one of their flagship titles. Another title that they showed was Trials. They show in Trials Fusion, which is a next generation Trials game, and Trials Frontier, which is a mobile game. And you're going to be able to perform tricks. You were only able to just jump on the bikes, but apparently now they're putting the emphasis in to be able to do tricks. Like maybe add a multiplier by doing tricks while you're doing these impossible courses. Which, well, I think the purpose of Trials is to not be like Tony Hawk, just get you to do these courses. So we'll see what happens. I mean, both 2 trial games, not bad. And then came I think probably the moment where I think everybody, I think they saved the best for last. And I think this is legitimately the most illest thing that they did. And it's sort of equal to what they did with Watch Dogs last year. This is a game that is supposed to be this open world RPG. And it's called The Division, and it's done by Massive Entertainment. Does this beautiful it kind of gets into this long trailer about how government and the conspiracy theory about the effects of the whole world using money, and it kind of drones on a little bit, but then it gets to a point where they show the game. And then you're seeing online players interact with each other, and then this game is like it's an open world, beautiful game. It's like a post-apocalyptic world where you can scan around and you can go inside of multiple buildings to determine and find certain things to do. And with someone on the tablet, they can also indicate other objectives from where you can actually send your people to go to nearest by. And it's basically like a third-person RPG where you use like guns and explosives and special skills, and you could switch skills between the game itself. You can it's very interactive when you got everyone just kind of sort of just sharing experiences through the game. People can switch in and out from the game as well. The Division looks beautiful. You can also mark targets and set drones there, and mark targets on the map on this stage as well. I think they use the tablet and that. Again, I mentioned that the tablet functionality that they're trying to implement into games are definitely something that they're pushing forward to, and I'm I'm blown away how they use this technology. Seriously, the Division was probably the saving grace of this conference, and I think it lasted. They should have just focused more on this. I mean, not that the crew wasn't a bad thing that they showed, but I think this was the game that I think people were more interested in. And I think the Division is going to be one of those games that I am so totally definitely going to get coming up for PlayStation and Xbox One. So more on that later. But and that was the end of the Ubisoft conference. And I'm going to give my impressions. Now, if you notice at this video, I spend a lot of time talking about Aisha Tyler and the annoyances of Ubisoft's conference. It was because that was what I felt. I felt I was insulting, I was throwing profanities. I was like, this woman is literally one of the most annoying things. Not as annoying or weird as Mr. Caffeine. I think Mr. Caffeine definitely was in a world he didn't understand. I think he was good presenting things, just not showing you why you should be excited about video games. I think Aisha Tyler was more of a easy approach, but she just could not stop talking. Her voice was just loud and annoying, and she just kept on droning on and on and on, and it was just super annoying. I really just no. I mean, I honestly couldn't get into the conference as well because she just kept coming out and just droning on and on about things. Then they keep bringing more stuff like kids, which just begs the question: is like, why are they bringing a kids show, bringing kids, and just showing how awesome the connectivity is? Do you think that people will be interested in doing that? I don't think so. So, I mean, the saving graces of this little event are they showed more Watch Dogs. They showed a little bit of Assassin's Creed 4. They showed the crew, which, although, again, I state I am not the type of person who's going to be picking this game up, a lot of people are going to be picking this game up because it's a pretty cool concept. You can deck out your car and you can turn it into different types of vehicles for different types of missions. The customization of this is pretty neat. But if you already have Need for Speed Rivals, you don't want the crew. But if you have the crew, you don't need Need for Speed Rivals. Seriously, I mean, you could put them both next to each other and it's almost the same game with the exception of the customization. But if they added something like that onto Need for Speed, then it's pretty much the same game. And of course, the Division. That is, I think, if anything from that show is like its saving grace, I think it would be the Division. But I just found that this Ubisoft conference was it was a short conference, but it felt longer because this woman would just not leave. Seriously, I found her to be that irritating, and that could be just me. I mean, I'm maybe I'm just not as calm with people that are just annoying like her, but I mean, seriously, I mean, like, I try to keep my mind open to talk about what they're talking about, but sometimes you have to just think about it for a second. Why would you be talking about kids shows and bringing people for the sake of, like making noise on stage and getting some people to go on stage, like, why can't you just come out and have a solid conference without having to annoy people in the process? Seriously, Ubisoft, stop doing that. Stop bringing in people as presenters like that. Why don't you just do that yourselves? You did it just fine the last time, and it was with Watch Dogs. Seriously, you don't need people to come out and be as presenters just because, we just want to show someone that looks and has character. No. Just do it yourselves. That's what they all did. Huh? But anyway, that's to me my little small rant. But if I did spend majority of this time talking about her, I'm sorry. But that was my impressions of the EA conference, Ubisoft's conference. I'm sorry, the Ubisoft conference. I keep switching between Ubisoft and Ubisoft, but What do you guys think? Did you guys like the Ubisoft conference? Would you like me to keep calling things Ubisoft instead of Ubisoft? Did you guys find Aisha Tyler as repulsingly annoying as I did, or did you guys find room in your hearts to forgive her stupidity throughout the entire conference and didn't let you guys get bothered? Are you guys psyched about Watch Dogs? What do you guys think about The Division? Anything you guys want to comment on the bottom, just let me know, and we'll share this little think tank, this little ability, this little morsel that was leading up to what might possibly be probably the show that stole the show this year. A little conflicted about what I'm about to say, but the next presentation that I'm going to be talking about, the next conference I'm going to be talking about, is the conference that definitely blew me away the most. And I've had this love and hate relationship with this company, but you know what? Sometimes you just got to let go and forgive, because this, guys, is probably where I think this conference definitely got the most people excited about. So next time, I'm going to talk about the Sony conference, the revelation of the PlayStation 4, and everything else that came along with it, which was a pretty emotional ride. And I'm going to be talking about it in full detail. Might actually even be much longer than most of the other videos because it was a longer conference. But yes, I will be talking about it. So until next time, guys, I'm Fico, and this was my gaming mind. And publishers, companies, this is just me asking, but I'm begging you. Please don't hire Aisha Tyler anymore. Please don't think about getting somebody to replace Mr. Caffeine. Please.